Hey everybody, welcome to another Author Show board game review. This week we've been looking at Evil High Priest, and in this specific video right here I'm going to show you some sample gameplay for the game. Now again, before we go on, I'm going to mention this in every one of these single videos until you're sick and tired of hearing my voice, but this is a print and play copy of the game. I don't work for Peterson Games, I don't get any special privileges or anything like that. I actually had to go to the website for the Kickstarter, download the PDF and print it out and check it out. Now I'm doing this because I figured, heck, if I went through all this work, might as well show all of you the game so you can see if, hey, if this is a game that's going to be interesting to you or not. I've actually played this game quite a bit, and I'm actually probably going to end up back in the game, but I definitely wanted to make sure I downloaded it and played it before I made any decisions, because I love worker placement games, but I don't need another worker placement game that's going to do the exact same thing every one of my other worker placement games do. So having said that, basically what I've said is this is a print and play. I'm going to show you some gameplay for a 3-player game between the purple, the orange, and the white, or if you want to be very technical about this, you can be the Sathagwa. Okay, I'm not even going to try to pronounce all of them because you can figure it out. We got orange, we got white, and we got purple. We have the basic Cthulhu board, or the basic Cthulhu cult board, which comes with the Shoggoth. It comes with the deep one track, and that's used with these two spaces right here to get extra resources. Little quick reminder though, instead of printing out and killing the environment, I'm going to use white cubes as the elder signs. I'm going to use black cubes as the spell books. Why? Well, because reasons. I got some money over here. Red is going to be blood. Purple is going to be magic. Well, because it fits, it matches the colors. Other than that, we're ready to start playing the game. The first thing we need to do is figure out who the first player is going to be. And we're going to go ahead and pick purple. Why? Well, because that's where I'm going with my right to my left. So the first thing we need to do when we started playing a game of Evil High Priest is player number 1 gets $1 in their sanctum. Player number 2 gets $2 that goes in their sanctum because we don't have any chambers to add that money to. And then finally, player number 3 gets $3 in their sanctum. We're ready to go. Let's bring everything down to the table and start playing Evil High Priest. Starting with the purple player, the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out if we want to send one of our acolytes to go into town, or if we want to use our high priest to access our priest-only board, or if we have any resources, we can also go access the Cthulhu cult board. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources for that. So basically our decisions at this point is, do we want to go to our priest board, or do we want to go to the town? And it's a pretty easy decision for us right now, because if we look over here at our sanctum potential location for the chambers, we see that we have a spike trap. Now, I played this game enough to know that the spike trap is very, very awesome, especially early in the game when none of the investigator raids have happened. Because at the beginning of the game, all the investigator raids are going to be basically only one die only. So there's a pretty good chance that this is going to go off. I can't hold any resources in it, but I can definitely get 4 blood very, very easily. So the first thing I'm going to do with the purple player is I'm going to move my high priest onto my priest board only, and the first thing is I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the chanting chamber. Now, why do they call it the chanting chamber? Well, because Peterson Games got done watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs many, many times before creating this game, and they heard the hi ho song 34 times and decided to call it the chanting room. Actually, I have no idea why it's called the chanting room. Just know the chanting room is the only place you can get the chambers. So we're going to have this chamber right here into the front of our board. That's going to be the first location. Why? Because we're hoping that any investigators are going to come along and make their lives very, very difficult. So the next thing we're going to do is grab another chamber. We're going to see that we're going to get the dimensional gate, which is absolutely fantastic for anybody who wants to store a lot of stuff there. It absolutely rocks. It's probably one of the best places to start locking those elder signs in. So having said that, and we know that orange is the next player, orange is going to definitely go over there and say, hi ho, it's off to magic chamber I go. We will take that magic chamber. We will go ahead and refill that, and the next thing we're going to get is another dimensional gate. I swear I shuffled these very, very well. Dimensional gates then go down there. We move over to the next player. We go over to the Windwalker player. They're going to look at everything, and I am going to tell you these dimensional gates are absolutely fantastic. You put them at the end over here, and they just absolutely rock because you can hide all your elder signs there. As long as a certain little investigator raid doesn't come in there and ruin your life. Other than that, they're actually really darn awesome. Don't know if they're great at the beginning of the game, but I know they're great at the end of the game. So that's it for the Windwalker. Let's go back over here to the purple player. We have 2 acolytes left, and the first thing we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and get some purple magic. Now, as soon as we have purple magic, we could put it in our chambers if we had chambers that could hold resources. Unfortunately, we don't, so all resources need to go into our exposed resources. That's never a good thing because those investigators can always take any resources there if we don't stop them. But we'll worry about that in a minute. Let's go over to orange. They're going to come over here and they're going to decide that we have $2. Next thing we need to do is get some blood. Why? Well, because we can use that blood to get some more acolytes. It takes $2 and 2 blood to get an acolyte. Well, guess what? We have that. Unfortunately, only our priest can do that because only these locations can be used by our priest. Not our acolytes, but we'll worry about that next round when that comes around. So we go over to our Windwalker player. They're going to go ahead and get $1. That puts them at a total of $4. We're also going to get 1 blood, and we're going to put that right there. Now the cool thing is we could, if we really wanted to, and I think we're actually going to do this, and I should have done this with orange just a second ago, but I guess I jumped ahead of myself here. But we went to this location to get 1 money and 1 blood. Well, we're going to go ahead and put these in the chamber over here. Actually, wait, hold on. If I remember correctly, I think they have to all be the same. Yep, that's right. They can't do that. So ignore me. We're not going to do that. Actually do that right. So we are done with the Windwalker. Let's go back over here to purple. They have one little guy over here. And we have a couple different options of what we can do. We are actually going to take the skulk space. Why? Well, you'll see in just a moment why we're going to do that. We're going to get the copy of space here in just one quick little second. We're going to go over here to orange, who's going to decide what they want to do next. They lost the space they really, really wanted. So they can go get $1 or they can go get $3. Well, we know what we want. We're going to take $3. Gold is $3. Silver is $1. Let's move over here to the Windwalker. Windwalker is going to take the one acolyte right here, and they don't have a lot of options left of what they can do. But there is one thing we can do. We're going to go ahead and visit this site right down here where you can take any one resource you want and trade in for $3. Well, we're going to trade $1 into $3. Well, because we're accountants, we just didn't tell you that in the beginning. So we're going to put that $3 down there. And this is actually one of those times where I'm going to put this money down here on the dimensional gate because it has to be 10 of any same resource. Well, we got money. Let's at least protect our money from anything bad happening, any potential raids happening. All of our players have activated, so we're finished with the first part of the very first round. And there's a nice turn reminder over here on every single player board. So now that we've taken care of all the players activating, the next thing we need to do is take care of the skulking space. So purple is going to skulk on their own space and get 1 more magic. And now we have 2 magic and we have $1. Next thing we're going to do is we have any cultists on rituals. Well, we don't have any cultists on rituals, so we don't need to worry about that at all. So all of our cultists, all of our acolytes, all of our high priests, they all return to every single player. We are actually done with the first round. You can see how quick this game can play as a worker placement game. That's the end of round number 1. Now let's move on to round number 2. At the start of round 2, we're going to start again with the purple player. The only way the first player marker is ever going to move spots is if somebody takes this spot over here, which not only does it give them first player, it also gives them a buck, but unfortunately in this game we're not going to be using it too much, at least not in the early stages of this 3-player game. So let's go ahead and move on with the purple player's turn. The very first thing we're going to do with the purple players, we are actually going to unlock that elder sign. Now we could do that right now, but actually we are going to hesitate for 1 second because we want a great place to actually stick that elder sign. Because if we have it over here in exposed resources, I can almost guarantee that somebody's going to activate a raid and make that elder sign disappear very quickly. And that's kind of the cool thing about Evil High Priest. If you're not smart about protecting your resources, remember, like I said, your resources are your victory points. You have to protect your victory points, because if you lose them, you're not getting those victory points. You're going to be hosed in the end of the game. So let's first, before we actually unlock this elder sign with these 2 magic points we have right here, first thing we are going to do is we're going to head over here. We're going to do some more hi-ho chanting, and we are going to grab a vault. Now the vault allows us to hold 2 resources, and it also has a defense of 2. So let's go and stick this vault right about here. Now you have to be careful when you're adding these chambers onto your board, because once these chambers are down, the only way you can ever move these chambers is if you fill up every one of your open areas. Then you have the possibility to slightly shuffle around these chambers. But before that, you can't, so you have to start placing these very smartly. So we have gone over here with the purple. We have taken a chamber. We've taken a vault, so let's go ahead and access our next chamber and find out what that's going to be. And we're going to see that it's a trap. Now, a trap is kind of nice, so we may want to think about that, protect us from any of these raids that may happen anytime soon. So now we come over to the orange player, who is also liking what they're seeing out here. They want to get a chamber, start holding some of those resources. So let's put that chamber right about there, and let's replace it, find out what we're going to get next. Hey, we're going to get another pit trap. Traps are always wonderful. It stops the bad guys, the good guys from taking stuff from us, the bad guys. So we'll come over here to white, who is also going to take that trap. Why? Because traps are just so darn fun. We will take that. The next thing we are going to get is another vault card. Now, most of these chambers, about a third of them, maybe about 25% of them are going to be vault cards. They're pretty much the generic, but there are other chambers, as you've been seeing, that have other special abilities on them. Now, anytime you add extra chambers onto the board, you can actually move some of your resources in them at that time. That's the only time you can rearrange your resources. And I should have done it right here, but I'm not going to do it because I'm actually going to be spending that magic here very, very quickly right after we're done with the white player. Back over to purple. They are going to send one of their acolytes to go ahead and shatter this elder sign right here. So it costs us 2 magic to do so. We will discard the 2 magic, we will gain this elder sign, and we're going to stick it right into our vault so it is protected. So hopefully if a raid happens, we're not going to lose those resources. And if we were smart, or if we played a little bit better, if we planned a little bit more ahead, we could have actually immediately used the space right here that just got opened up on the cult board. Spending 2 blood, we could have got a cultist immediately. And that is something I could have done, and I should have done, and I'm actually going to do that so you can see more of the gameplay. And I really hate backtracking on these videos, but the main objective of these videos is just to show you how games play, so you can get an idea of all the interaction of all these games and all these board games, and see how they can play. So I'm actually going to do that just so you can see the interaction of the pieces with the cult board. I think it's going to be a lot better to do it that way. So I'll backtrack here, redo the purple player's turn. We will take this acolyte right here, and we will go ahead and gain 2 blood. And we will put that 2 blood over here in our vault. Why? Well, because we can. So now we're done with the purple. Let's go over here to orange, who is going to come over here. And they are starting to get a lot of resources. We have a couple different options what we can do right now. We need to start doing some future planning and plan for what's going to be happening in the future. So we have blood and we have money. We need magic, because once we have magic, we can start getting spell books. Spell books help us start unlocking some of these more powerful gates, which again gives us elder signs, which are victory points. But spell books also allow us to get chambers and monsters, and these monsters can protect our lairs, protect our sanctums from these raids that are going to happen. It's not a maybe on these raids. These raids will happen. We have 2 level 1 raids, 2 level 2 raids, and 2 level 3 raids. And those level 3 raids can be very devastating if you're not ready for them. You can basically lose all your resources if you don't plan for them in advance. So, thinking about that, we are going to go over here and we are going to get 1 magic point. Now we have a vault. Let's go ahead and add it into our vault right now, even though we're going to be spending it pretty darn quickly. We'll go over to the Windwalker, who is going to see that we have blood, we have money, we need magic somehow. Now there's a couple different ways we can get magic, and the easiest way we're going to do is going to give us a lot of magic. We'll send our acolyte over here to spend 5 resources, or in this instance, we're going to be spending $5. So we'll spend $2 plus 3 more for a total of $5. That's going to give us 3 magic. We're going to take all 3 of that magic and we're going to put it over here into our mystic gate. Back over here to the purple player. Now I'm going to show you that shattering of that elder sign. We'll take our final worker right here, our acolyte. We'll move over here to this location. We will spend our 2 spell points. We will shatter that elder sign. And unfortunately, this elder sign is going to go into our sanctum, which isn't going to work out too perfectly for us. So we're going to need to build a chamber very, very quickly so we can protect that elder sign as quickly as possible. We just need to hope a raid isn't going to happen. And we know a raid's not going to happen because nobody's going to get a spell book in time. So we're kind of safe on that aspect. Hopefully. Well, let's see how the turn plays out. So after we have taken this location, after we've taken the elder sign, we slide over into this new action space that's just opened up for all the players on the board. But since we're first there, we get first dibs on it. We will spend the 2 blood right now. That'll give us a cultist who will escape from the asylum and run to the escape bin over here. We now have 1 extra worker available to us next turn. So let's go over here to the orange player. They have 1 worker left. Now remember, we need to think about what we need to do. We need spell points, which we have. We need spell books, which we need, and everything out there. So let's go ahead and move over here to this location right here, where we will spend $1. We'll spend 1 spell point and 1 blood. And we will get a spell book, which we will stick right here. Actually, let's put in our extra dimensional gate because we're going to be spending that pretty darn soon. We don't need to worry about clogging up anyways. So next thing we'll come over here, we'll come over to the Windwalker. We have a couple different options to go here as the Windwalker. We have spell points, we have money, we have blood. We could get a little more money to help us out in future turns, or we can go ahead and start getting some victory points right now, because we actually could get some victory points. That may be a good thing for us, and I think that's actually what we're going to do here. So we'll spend our last cultist alt here. This location is now open since this elder sign has been unlocked, so we'll slide down here. We will spend 2 of those spell points. We will unlock this elder sign right here. We will take this elder sign and we're going to put it over here since we don't have any other locations for it. So we must protect that elder sign pretty darn quickly. And then we will slide over here. Well, we can, if we want to, we can sacrifice one of our cultists to take that Shoggoth down there. Now, normally when you sacrifice a cultist, they move over to your asylum. Here's the really cool thing about this game that prevents you from falling too far behind the other players. You can never have more than 4 workers in the asylum. If you ever have more than 4 workers in the asylum, they always go to the escape spot. So instead of sacrificing a cultist, I'm basically going to get a free cultist out of this by doing this right now. So heck yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take advantage of the space that says sacrifice the cultist. Now, a cultist will never sacrifice himself. They're not that crazy. But we will sacrifice one of our cultists over here. This guy right here, which opens the space, but we're actually okay with that. We'll go over here, we'll sacrifice, and now we have this nice, mean, nasty Shoggoth who's going to come right over here. Now, he doesn't ever enter our lair because he's just too good for that. That lair is for the little measly guys over here. But he still has a 10 defense, and there's one other thing we can do with him at a later time, and you'll get to see what will happen, hopefully, if I play this out correctly. So, we're done with the Windwalker. All their actions are done. We are done with the purple. They don't have any cultists left. Orange doesn't have any cultists left. That's it for round number 2. We now just need to start round number 3 and continue on with the game. So let's end off round 2 by making sure that we don't have any units or skulking. Don't need to worry about. Don't have anything on the ritual board. Let's go ahead and take back all of our workers for all of our players. And then we can go ahead and start round number 3. Now the nice thing about purple is since they earned an additional worker, they now have 3 workers, which gives them more options on their turn. White player gets their one guy out of the escape bin because, well, they ran away from the Shoggoth like a smart person would do. So the first player marker has not changed at all, so we know that purple is going to start the next round, and we just need to figure out exactly what purple wants to do. Now, getting those elder signs is victory points, but also defending ourselves from those bad things is a good thing to do. So we need to look at the long-term goals of what we want to do as this player. We know we have 1 elder sign. We better protect that very, very quickly because any raid right now is going to wipe that out if we can't stop the raid. So knowing that, we know the very first thing that we want to do is we want to protect this elder sign, and we want to shuffle our resources around very quickly. So our first action we want to do is going to be a no-brainer because we know that a raid is possibly coming very, very quickly, especially as evil as the other players are because they're evil high priests. We will go over here and start chanting at the chamber. We're going to take a vault. Somehow I managed to grab 2 vaults. Well, let's just pretend I didn't do that. Let's just take this vault right here, and we're going to stick this vault right here at this location, and then we're going to move that into the vault. We're going to move this dollar over here. Why? Well, just because we can, and then we're going to go ahead and flip over the next card. I guess these are sticking together just a little bit. Well, that's what happens when you get a print and play. But we'll put that trap down there, right there. We're done with purple. Now we get to go to the orange player and needs to figure out what they want to do. So the orange player is liking the idea of getting more workers, and there's a nice spot we have right here to get extra workers. But we also know that this is probably a really good time to start a raid if we can stop everything and still manage to protect all of our resources. So that's something we need to think about, and we need to also look at all the buildings over there because since we're the only ones with a spell book, we know that right now, as things stand, we're the next person to get one of these elder signs as long as nobody else gets a spell book. So us as the orange player needs to watch what the other players do. So we could get a spell book right now and probably not control the tempo of the game, or we can build up our resources and know that there's going to be a raid coming pretty soon because the next spell book is pretty much almost guaranteed to be a raid at this point, which is something we want to protect ourselves from. So we can't protect ourselves from the raid. Causing us to get that spellbook may actually cost us that spellbook in the long run. So let's play really smart right here, and instead of doing the raid right now, let's go ahead and grab some resources. So looking at the long-term goals of what we need, we know that we need spellbooks to get elder signs. We need magic to get elder signs, but we also need to start protecting our inner sanctum and preventing raids from ruining our lives. So that's a long-winded way of saying that we need to figure out what we want to do very, very quickly. So the first thing I think we are going to do is we're going to take this worker right here, and we're going to go out here, and we're going to go ahead and get some blood. We'll take that 2 blood, and we will stick that right here in the vault, and that'll be it from the orange player. We'll now come over to the white player who has 1 magic. We have 1 elder sign that we need to protect. We have some money, and we have some blood. Well, we know we want to protect that elder sign before anything absolutely atrocious happens to us. So we are going to take this pit trap right here. Now, normally the pit trap is one of those places where you want to store your money. Unfortunately, that would be a great thing to do right now, but if we don't get this elder sign out of the front row, we're going to be pretty hosed. So we can take this, put the elder sign in there, or since we know a raid could happen very soon, well, we actually don't have a decision to do. Because we know that orange is controlling the tempo of the game. We know that if they do a raid right now, there's a good chance that we could be in a lot of trouble. Although we have the Shoggoth. You know what? We have the Shoggoth. Let's go ahead and take a gamble because gambling is what everything is all about right here. We're going to take a very, very quick gamble and hope this gamble pays off for us. We have one spell power right now. Let's get another spell power so we also have the potential to open another gate. So let's take this. We will go right here and we will get one more spell power, which we'll add right in here into this dimensional section right there. Back over to the purple player. I know that's a horrible gamble, but what the heck, we're going to do it anyways. Yeah, I know it's a bad decision. I know it's a bad decision, but I'm moving on. We'll go over here to the purple player. We have 3 cultists, or 3 acolytes. We have our priest who's already used. We need to figure out exactly what we want to do here. We have 1 elder sign. We have $1, so we don't have a lot of resources to do anything with, so we know we need resources. We have a couple things. We can go for money, or we could go for blood. Blood will possibly get us some more extra workers, which is always a possibility to do, because if we have that, we can get a monster. Monsters are great for protecting our inner sanctum. So let's look at doing that first. So what we are going to do is we are going to take this skulk space before anybody else does, because we want that space right there. We'll now move over to the orange player. Now remember what we were thinking about doing with the orange player is we were starting a raid. And we see that nobody else can start a raid except for, or actually nobody else can start a raid. So we could start a raid right now and cause a lot of problems for the white player. So let's see if we can go ahead and do that and make their life very, very difficult. So let's do that right now. We will take our cultist and we will go over here to this location right here, unlocking this elder sign. It costs us 1 spellbook to do so. We will discard that spellbook and we will gain this elder sign, which we will put inside this dimensional gate because it's empty. So that's a good thing to do. We will cause the deep one track to go up by 1 point, and then we are going to start a raid right here, right now. So let's roll for the strength of the raid. Now, normally, if you have the full version of the game with the expansion on the Kickstarter, you get a variety of different investigators. We're just going to make this part of the turn play out a little bit differently, but since I don't have access to that, it's kind of a little more simpler. We just simply roll a die, and we get a strength of 2. So everybody has a strength 2 raid that they need to fight off. So this is actually going to be super easy and nobody's going to get hurt at all. Because the first thing you do is you subtract the total amount of cultists, acolytes you have in your asylum from the total raid strength. Well, 2 minus 4 is -2. Don't need to worry about it. 2 minus 4, -2. Again, don't need to worry about it. And 2 minus 3 is still -1, so still don't need to worry about that. So that was a very uneventful raid for all of our players, but that's okay because the orange player just gained 10 victory points. They're okay with that. Moving over to the white player. We are going to unlock another elder sign right here. We're going to come over here to this location. We are going to spend the 2 magic. That goes right here. We will unlock this elder sign. This elder sign will come over here where we're going to put it inside the dimensional gate where it's hopefully protected. And then we are going to see that the spot that opened up is the one for the money. So we automatically slide over here. And the current level of the deep one track is 1. So we're going to get 1 free dollar for doing that. Not too bad. We'll stick that $1 right there. That's it for the white player. We now get to go back to purple, who needs to figure out exactly what they want to do at this point. Now, purple is, right now, they're losing the elder sign race to the white player who has 20 points, 10 victory points, plus some blood, 10 victory points, and that's about all they have. So let's find a way to start getting some victory points for purple. So we have a couple different options. First of all, the one thing I forgot to do is flip this over when we had our first raid. I should have did that earlier. I apologize. And that's actually why I'm flipping this over now, because I know what we want to do. So the first thing we are going to do is we need to find a way to get some money, because the ritual board always uses money. Place that there and we will gain $3. And we'll get some singles because we're going to throw those in our vault. So we'll get $1 there, $1 there, and then this dollar will go there and expose resources. We now get to go over here to the orange player, who is looking at everything over there. They have Pit Trap, which is great for the money. And you know what? Just a regular trap. Yeah, we actually have a couple different decisions on what we can do at this point. We could, at this point, get another acolyte. We could, at this point, get another chamber, which will allow us to reshuffle our resources, which isn't that big of a deal. We don't really need to worry about at this point. But I'm thinking what we want to do is we are going to gain another acolyte. We'll go here, we'll spend 1 blood and then 1 blood from our open resources. And then one of our little cultists is going to run madly from the asylum into the escape space, and that's it for the orange player. We now come over here to white, who is definitely going to get a chamber because that is the one thing we need very, very badly. We will get another trap, which is going to protect us very, very well. This allows us to shuffle our resources. We're going to move that elder sign in there, and now we can move back over to the purple player, who is very easily going to take this spot, spend $1, spend a second dollar, and they're going to take that location. That's it for all of our players. Everybody has activated all their cultists. So now we move on to the part where any player in the skulk phase gets to activate their player, and we're going to take this cultist, and we're going to go ahead and skulk over here in Innsmouth, which is going to give us 2 blood. And this is going to work out perfectly for us because we're about to get some magic also. We just got to hopefully don't lose those resources. We need to spend them very, very quickly. Otherwise, we could be in a lot of trouble. So let's make sure we're playing smart here. Refill that chamber really quick before I forget, and then we will put that 2 blood down there just like that. So now that we're done with that, we move over here at the board. It's going to remind us that we need to move any cultists on the ritual board. So purple's going to move their cultists on the ritual board. They're going to gain 4 magic right here and now. So we'll gain the 4 magic that also goes in our exposed resources. Again, we need to be very careful, make sure we don't lose those resources. That's it for that. And the only thing left to do is for everybody to return their units back to their cultist pools. We don't have any special monsters, so don't need to worry anything about anything else there. So we'll just pull all of our guys back. Make sure I'm not cheating. I almost grabbed my guys from the asylum there. That would have been kind of funny in a not very funny kind of way. And once all of our units are pulled back, except for the one in the ritual spot, we are now ready to start the next round with the first player, who is still the purple player. So we'll start with the purple player, and the first thing we are going to do is we need to protect those resources. So we are going to go ahead and start chanting again. We will take... We actually have a good choice here. We could take the secret room, which gives us access to 3 resources, or we can take the pit trap, which allows us to lock away 4 resources and possibly potentially money. And when we take it, we get to reorganize our board over here. So it actually may be a decent idea, and I think we're actually going to do that. We will take the pit trap, and then this gives us a chance to rearrange our board any way we want. We're going to put 2 of the dollars right here, which means this is now a strength 2 chamber. And now that we've done that, we're going to take 2 of our magic over here, and magic is more, or should be, or generally more difficult to get than blood, so we'll put the other magic over there. And then we are done with that. Let's go ahead and finish with that. Move over to the orange player's turn. Now orange has 1 blood, 1 elder sign, and a little bit of money, so let's see if there's any way we can gain any elder signs over here. We see this one requires a spell book, which means we would need magic to get a spell book, unless we want to go over here to the ritual board, which I don't think is the best way to get a spell book at this time. The other option we have over here is to do a spell book. We see this one takes a spell book and magic, this one takes spell book and magic, this one takes 2 spell books. So we basically see, as an orange player, if we want more victory points, we need a spell book. So the first way we can get a spell book is by going over here to the Miskatonic University, or we can go over here to the ritual board right here and spend $2 to get a spell book. So $2 for a spell book, or a dollar, a blood, and a magic. I think that's actually a better idea for us. We will go and grab the 1 magic here. We'll take that magic and we will stick it right here in our vault. That's it for the orange player. Over here to the white player, we also have 2 elder signs. We see that there's different ways that we can start getting some more things, but we also know that we want to do the sacrifice over here, the Shoggoth, which can potentially give us 2 elder signs if we play very smart. So we know we need a spell book. So we are going to take one of our priests right here, and oops, I need 1 more blood, so I can't do this yet. So we're going to take this guy. We are going to take 2 blood, and we're going to take that 2 blood, and we're going to stick it in our exposed chamber right now. Now we'll go over to the purple player, who is going to get another cultist. We're going to take this guy and send him over here. That's going to cost us 2 blood. We'll spend the 2 blood, and that allows us to get another cultist from the asylum. We'll put in our escapee location. We'll go back over to the orange player. Now the orange player, we know, needs a spell book, and we know how to do that. We're going to take this, go right over here. That's going to cost us $1, 1 magic, and 1 blood. Easy enough to cover, and that's going to give us a spell book, which we'll stick over here in our vault. Then we'll go over here to the white player, who is trying to figure out a way to do things. We know what we want to do. We just need to figure out the best way to do it. We have traps, we have blood, we have money. We know that we need a spell book, or we need something else. We need to figure out how to make that happen very, very quickly. The white player, for their turn, we actually have a lot of things we need to do, and that's always the fun thing about worker placement games. There's tons of stuff you need to do, not enough time, not enough resources to do it. So here's our decision process we got for the white player. We could go over here and grab another chamber, and we see we have the secret room, which will be a great place for us to hold our resources, which is great because we don't have a lot of those locations because of all we have are traps and the dimensional gate. So it's actually a great decision. We also know, just like every other player, we need spellbooks, because spellbooks allow us to get these elder signs. Without those elder signs, we're not going to get the great victory points, because each one of these elder signs is worth 10 victory points. That's a lot in this game. So we have a couple options. We need to figure out a spell book, and we need to get some chambers. Those are the two things we need to do right now before anything goes south for us. Especially since we see what we want to do and how we want to do it. So we know we need 2 spell books, so we can abuse the Shoggoth and get 2 Elder Signs out of that. But we need a place to protect our resources. So we are going to go sing Hi Ho, Hi Ho. It's off to secret room I go. And we'll take this secret room right here. And then we're going to add all 3 of the blood into the secret room, just to keep it safe, because blood is harder to get than money, and blood's worth victory points. Well, money can be worth victory points too, but not quite as much as a blood. So that's what we're going to do there. Back over to the purple player, who we kind of have a rough idea of what we want to do. We know we got this extra guy right here. We know we have some money. We know we need spell books. We know there's not a lot of easy ways to get spell books, so I think we're going to lock this guy right here into the ritual right there. That costs us $2. We have the $2. We'll spend the $2 right here. And then that will at least will give us a spell book, so we're good right there. Back over to the orange player. So the orange player has been plotting and planning and trying to figure out exactly what they want to do, because they want Elder Signs, because those are the victory points. We know that if we activate this spot right here, we can probably stop the raid from hurting us. The worst thing we will lose is $3. So that's the first thing we're thinking about. So it'll also give us 10 victory points. So I think what's almost a no-brainer at this point to go ahead and try to take that spot. So we know we want to do that, but do we want to do that quite yet? And I'm thinking, yes, we want to do that right now. So we will take our cultist right here. We'll add 1 to the deep 1 track. So deep 1 track is now at level 2. We'll take this Elder Sign, toss it in the dimensional gate, and then we are going to have another investigator raid. Now again, if you have the extra stuff, normally we'd figure out what kind of investigator we're fighting. We don't do that in this case. We're just going to roll a simple 6-sider, and we will get a 5. So everybody has to fend off a level 5 raid, which is not going to be too hard for the players at this point, because everybody has some pretty good defenses and resources, well, except for maybe purple. But let's do this in player order. Actually, let's not do it in player order, because then I'm going to forget which player was going. So let's start with orange to do this very thing first. So the first thing is we have a level 5 raid. We're going to take 3 off the raid, because we have 3 cultists in the asylum, meaning we have a level 2 raid. Now, I could at this point sacrifice a cultist, and if I sacrifice a cultist, it's going to go down to 0. If I don't sacrifice a cultist, I'm going to lose this $3, but at least the Volt will stop the rest of that from happening, and I should lose that spell book from taking that before I forget. So here's my thought process. I can sacrifice a cultist to save $3, not worth it. Or I could just lose the $3, which is what I think I'm going to do, because a cultist costs 2 blood and 2 money, or just 2 blood, which is harder to get than the money. I can get the money back pretty darn easily. So we are going to take the money. We'll lose it. We'll see if that's going to be a good decision or not. And then it's going to hit the vault, take 2 more damage. Nothing to steal from the vault, so our Elder Signs are safe. We managed to lock in our 20 victory points. We're A-okay on that aspect. Let's go over here to the Windwalker. The first thing you're going to do is they have 4 cultists, which will knock it down from 5 all the way down to 1 strength. Now, from here, we need to figure out if we want to sacrifice a cultist, which will send him over here to the escape location because our asylum is full, or we can lose our money. I'm thinking we'll open up this space and send him to the escape spot. Now, it does open up that spot, but hey, I think we're A-okay with that. That's going to knock down the raid strength all the way down to 0. Technically -1, but, you know, we're not going negative here. We don't need to worry about it. So it knocks it down to 0. We're A-okay here. We even managed to keep our money, so we're happy with this. And now we go over to purple. Purple has 2 guys in the asylum, so we're going to go from level 5 strength down to level 3 strength. And now we need to figure out what we want to do here, because if we don't lower the investigator's strength at all, we are going to lose this. But if we let this happen just right, we're going to get 4 blood out of this. So we could do this in a way, to kind of interesting way of doing this. So what I think we are going to do is we are going to sacrifice this cultist right here, who is going to go to the asylum. That's going to give us 2 defense. So we go down from 3 down to 1. Now this may not be the best decision, but it does show you the different amount of variety you can have in this game. So we are going to lose this 1 spell power right here. Oh darn. So now we have 1 strength left. The spike trap says it takes 2 strength off of an attack, and if this is the location that actually stops the investigators, we're going to get 4 blood. Well, look at that. We are going to gain 4 blood just for the loss of 1 spell power. So I think in the long run, that was definitely worth it. So I will take all 4 of this blood, and I'm going to stick it right here in this pit trap. Now, normally it's good to put money in the pit traps, but we don't need to have any money because we don't have any money. So we are done there. That is all of the investigator raids for all of our players. That's it for the orange player's turn. We now go back over to the Windwalker. Now the Windwalker is thinking that we want to get another investigator, especially now that that spot is opened up. So we will come over here. We will spend the 2 blood, which we easily have. Now this is kind of changing the strategy we were thinking about doing, but when you have such great opportunities, you're not going to let them go away. That's it. The purple player has no units left, so the only thing left is for orange to possibly use their high priest if they want to. They could get a chamber, or they could do any different thing. And I think we are going to get a chamber because we want to start protecting our resources, because these raids are going to start getting much, much, much more powerful very, very quickly. So we are going to come over here to the chamber, start chanting, and we have the pit trap, we have the trap, or we have the vault. Now the vault allows us to store things, but I just love those pit traps because it just seems so perfect and so fitting. So we're going to take the pit trap, which stops 3 damage. We are okay with that. All of our guys have gone. We're done with that. There's nobody in the skulk space. So the only thing left to do is any cultists and rituals will move up. You will move up. You will come back here. We will gain a spell book, which we want to lock. Uh-oh. I didn't plan that too well. Let's make sure we spam that spell book very, very quickly so we don't lose it. All of our cultists come back for all of our players. And we are finished with whichever round we happen to be on. And it's now time to start the next round of the game after I remember to fill the chamber, which is something I've forgotten to do at least 10 times now. But let's go ahead and start the next round. I'm sure you can see now how the game is starting to speed up and starting to advance as all the players are fighting for the resources they need to unlock all these elder signs, which are going to be worth the victory points they need to win the game. I'm going to go ahead and do one more round of the game, and I'm going to show you some little bit more gameplay from showing that final round. But I think at the end of this final round, you have a really good idea of Evil High Priest is going to be a game that you're actually interested in. So let's go ahead and start with the purple player. And the very first thing we are going to do with the purple player is we are going to go and do some more chanting. We want this closet right here because it's going to be something we need very, very badly. So when we take the closet, first thing we are going to do is we are going to reorganize things. I'm going to move that there and take this 3 blood, 1, 2, 3, put that right there, and then I need this to go right there. I'm sure that's what I want to do, and if not, well, I'll just have to suffer the consequences whenever that happens. Now we'll come over to orange. Now orange we know has 2 elder signs, no real resources, so there's no way to get any more elder signs, so they need to figure out what they want to do. And we know that the raids are going to start getting a lot nastier, so we kind of know what we're going to do. We're going to go tra-la-la-la-la to the summon monster space. And why do we tra-la-la-la-la? Well, because we've already used the Sun White and the 7 Dwarfs reference over here, so let's keep on going with that anyways. We are going to sacrifice this guy, who is going to send him back to the asylum, and we are going to get a monster, which doesn't go into layer number 1, protecting ourselves because we see that we don't have a lot of good protection at this point, and that's something we definitely want to have. So we're done. Let's go over here to the Windwalker. Now the Windwalker, again, we have no magic. We don't have a lot of great storage capacity. We don't have a lot of resources. We know we need magic. We know we need spellbooks, and well, we know we need those elder signs. But we do know what we were planning on doing was trying to figure out a way to unlock this one, which takes 2 spellbooks. So let's figure out how to get 2 spellbooks very, very quickly. And I can do this. I don't think it's going to be very, very tough. So let's go ahead and see if we can make it happen. So the first thing we are going to do is send a cultist right here, which is going to give us $3. We're now at $5. Let's see if this is going to work. We are then going to, I don't know if this is going to work, but hey, what the heck. We're going to come back over here to the purple, who we know is going to unlock another elder sign here. We're going to spend that spell book. We are going to gain this nice elder sign, which we're going to put in our final vault. And that's going to be worth victory points. So we're going to slide over, and we're going to see that we're going to get deep one trap, -1 in blood. So we're going to get 2 -1. We get 1 blood, which we will stick right here in that location right there. That's it for purple. Back over to the orange player, who again, we know what we need to do. We just need to make sure we're smart about how we're going to do it. The orange player needs to gain resources very, very badly. So we've already gotten a monster to protect ourselves, so that's a good thing. So we are looking at seeing if we can get any other way to start storing stuff and getting some extra protection. Because again, those raids are going to start getting a lot tougher here very, very quickly. So, oops, can't do that. What I need to do is I need to figure out how to get a spell book very, very quickly. So I'm going to take this guy right here, Can't do it over there. Spellbook location's already taken up. I guess I don't have a lot of options to do here except for... Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. So we are going to go right here to this location. That's going to give us $2. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I need to do this better. We're actually going to go here and get some blood. We will take 2 blood. We are going to put that 2 blood into our vault. That's it for the orange player. We come back over here to the Windwalker player who also needs to figure out a way to get money. We are going to go over here, spend $1, and that's going to give us $3 more right there. $1 for 1 resource for 3 money is a very good trade-off at this point. We now come back over here to purple. Purple has gotten, or they've obtained some victory points. And right now, if we were about to end the game right now, they would actually be winning the game because we have 24, 5, 6, 7, 9, 31 victory points. So they're actually winning the game right now versus everybody else. But that's just kind of a nice little segue here. We still need to figure out how we're going to strategically make some victory points. So we know that raids are eventually going to come. We know that we need a spellbook also. We know that we can get a spellbook. So we are going to figure out how to do that, and we actually need money to do it first. So we are going to take this little guy right here, and we're going to go visit Boston, which is going to give us $1 and a blood. We'll put that, we'll put the $1 right there. And we don't have a choice, so we'll put the blood right there also. Now we get to go back to the orange player, who is trying to figure out what they want to do next also. So we are looking at everything that's available, trying to figure out what we need to do, and I'm thinking what we are going to do is get an extra cultist. We will spend the 2 blood, because that way next round we'll actually have more workers, potential to actually do things on our turn. And now we'll come back over here to the Windwalker. Now the Windwalker is going to take this space right here, which is going to give them $2. And that puts us quite nicely at $10. Purple has no more workers. Orange has no workers. So now we get to go with the Windwalker, and the Windwalker gets to do their final action. The Windwalker's final action is they are going to come over to this location. They're going to spend all 10 other dollars, and they are going to gain 2 spellbooks. Now the nice thing about this is now we have 2 spellbooks, and the really cool thing about this is now that we have these 2 spellbooks, and this was our plan that we wanted to do all along, since we control the Shoggoth, as long as nobody takes it away from us, on our next turn, we can put one of our cultists right here, spend our 2 spellbooks. That is going to give us 1 elder sign, which is 10 victory points, and then whoever we put there is going to slide over this location, sacrifice the Shoggoth, and then we can take an elder sign from any other location on the board. So what we would probably do would be take this one and take one of these, which is going to give us a total of 20 victory points. Sure, we have to stand up to a raid, but we have 2 very nice pit traps, plus a secret room, plus a nice place to store all those elder signs. So I think we're going to be A-okay on that aspect. And that's Evil High Priest. I think you've seen enough gameplay for the game now to understand just how the game plays, all the variety of the game. And the reason why I actually want to cut this short is because the unfortunate thing about this video is I can't show you the extra things for the game that actually add to the variety. I can't show you the different monsters because in just this basic print and play, all the monsters are exactly the same. They don't add variety. But when you get the full game, you get monsters that do things like capturing cultists, give you special powers, give you special abilities, give you extra things you can do. The investigator track is going to be investigators who are actually going to attack you differently. They're still going to roll a 6-sider or 2d6 or 3d6, but they're also going to do a variety of different things and hamper the players based on things that are happening, such as maybe if you happen to be in the lead in victory points, you're going to suffer an extra penalty or things along those lines. And not only that, you have the different cult boards that are going to play differently. I can't emphasize this enough. The Cthulhu board plays differently from the Red Goat faction board. It plays, or the Black Goat faction. It plays differently. The way the board is laid out, the way those elder signs are gained, it's really interesting because in that board, and I can't print, I don't have it out here in front of me here, but just giving you an idea of how it plays differently, it actually has a lot more monsters, which means if you have the expansion for the different monsters, it's going to play differently. So I think you've seen enough of this video. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the YouTube comments down below. I'll definitely be sure to answer them as quick as I can. If you enjoy this video and you want to see more like them, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.